The sweet aromas of the apple fritter, cinnamon roll, and blueberry muffin are hard to resist. So making it home without reaching in your McDonald's bag is no easy task. But nothing worth doing is easy. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's.
This week at Macy's, it's time for a winter refresh with 25 to 50% off clearance plus an extra 20% off with your coupon or Macy's card. Or shop specials like sterling silver jewelry sets, now 70% off. Grab new jeans for the kids with 50% off Junior's denim. And Martha Stewart Collection flannel bedding, accessories, and more, 65% off. Now at Macy's. Plus, Star Rewards members can earn on every purchase except gift card services and fees. Savings off sale and clearance prices, exclusions apply.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net. Check out The Captain's Table, Saturdays on iTunes and ChristopherMedia.net. Christopher Media, let's make some noise.
So you guys like jerking off?
Christopher Media, let's make some noise. From Asthmacore Studios near Detroit, Michigan, it's Unregimented.
Gangsters, what's up, guys?
Number 109. I'm Chris.
Yes, I'm Aaron.
I'm Jay.
Yeah.
And this time it's for real.
For real.
Take two for us.
For real.
Yeah.
We got a half an hour of golden conversation.
Gone to the ether.
Gone in the ether. Can't hear us talk about jerking off for 10 minutes now.
Yeah, I think
Not that we jerk off for 10 minutes, because that would be a really long time. But
Well, it depends if you got anything to do. I don't know.
Yeah, we had a technical difficulty. Didn't capture our first take. No, I think we noticed it about 20 minutes into it, maybe a half hour.
Technical difficulty was between the keyboard and the chair.
But,
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yes. Well, yeah, that's a technical difficulty. You're not technical enough to handle your equipment.
Right.
No, we missed a golden conversation about masturbation that I can't even remember why we got into it in the first place. So maybe the public will hear those stories another day.
We were talking about your buddy who...
we were talking about him.
But no. Anyways. So you guys don't know what the fuck we're talking about, so...
No, speaking of technical difficulties, though, every once in a while, because I listen to a lot of podcasts, and a lot of these are produced in people's basements. And
I heard that happens, huh?
Yeah.
What? Really? You can do
Basement,
that?
you say?
Not everybody has a pro studio like us. Well, it's editing mistakes, though. It's not about where they're recording it or any of that. Sometimes things don't get edited properly before they get posted. And that even happens on NPR. There's actually quite a few times where listening to Terry Gross's program Fresh Air, where I've caught they'll go back and reread a line but forget to edit out the bad take.
Oh.
And so you hear them stop and go back. But there was the funniest one the other day. I was listening to Adam Savage's podcast, and about 10 minutes into it, the conversation stops and somebody goes, "Shouldn't that light be flashing?" And then it's three guys monkeying around, tripping over cables. I mean, it goes on for 5 minutes. And then they go back into their conversation, but it was all left in the podcast. I found it very entertaining, though.
Well, yeah, that's the reality. I mean, that's the reality of a podcast.
You get to see a little bit of behind the scenes. It's not as polished as radio.
Doesn't have to be.
Yeah, Bill Burr does no editing, and sometimes it comes through. His battery will run out while he's, in the middle of a read or something, and be in the middle of a commercial, and it just stops. And he's like, "Oh, hey everybody, I'm back. Battery died, or cord fried, or something like that." And I guess it depends on maybe the atmosphere of the podcast. If they're trying to come off pro, or I could see how it can be endearing.
Right.
But at the same time, too, it's also just annoying as someone who edits and produces them to hear shitty mistakes sometimes.
Right. I was kind
really?
of...
You're getting paid to do this and you fucking...
Yeah. I was experiencing both things. I wouldn't have missed that. And also, I'm glad they left that in. It's kind of entertaining.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm more keen to do that on the Weedsman when things go astray. Sometimes I'll leave them in.
Yeah, I left a little bit of the wine spill in. I didn't leave the whole thing in.
I hope... Was Jay in it then when he just goes, "Computer"? That's my favorite part.
No, I did not. I left in me swearing, and you could hear the wine hitting the table, and then I edited to you talking about, hey, we had a spill and all that, because
Right.
it was like fucking like 15 minutes long.
Yeah, it was quite the cleanup operation. I wouldn't expect you to leave the whole thing in. So,
All right,
a
so
fucked up
weird-
start to a fucked
Weird
up week.
Weird week.
Weird,
Yeah.
weird week. Lots of not very fun news this week.
Yeah, if you have kids, I'm sure it's been awesome to try to explain a lot of the things in the news this week to them.
You know, it's great. I don't let my kids watch the news,
Right.
so I don't have to explain it.
Does their school have Channel 1?
They're not in school right now. But
Oh,
yes, they
duh.
do.
Channel 1
Sorry,
isn't.
it's June.
Channel
they don't.
1.
Do they still do that?
No.
Oh, and
They
it's
have-
July.
No, they have.
Really? Channel 1 is dead?
And
They
I
do it
don't.
anymore?
And I
Well,
don't
not
think
my
they
kids'
talk
school.
about Bill Cosby.
It's not my kid's school, anyways. There's a. Oh yeah, there is a projector in their room.
Well, the big
Anyways.
news with Bill Cosby this week is that the AP filed to have documents released from the trial in 2005, where Andrea Constand was suing Bill Cosby in a civil case, claiming that she was drugged and raped. And the key part to this testimony was when Bill Cosby was asked if he had ever obtained prescription Quaaludes in the interest of giving them to women to make them pass out so he could molest them. And he said yes.
Bill
So-
apparently too good for
Prescription
hookers.
or over the counter? You said prescription, but the last time you read this story, it was. I'm sorry, everybody.
I might have said over the counter
Said over the counter.
mistakenly. I think it was prescription.
Okay.
God,
What
can you
are
imagine
Quaaludes?
Quaaludes were over the counter? Jesus.
Quaaludes were a sleeping pill
Right.
that if you could stand to stay awake really 15 minutes after they fucking kick in, you have a really badass trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just got to push past
You got to
it.
push past
So
it.
is it like an opiate?
I'm not sure what the
Probably is some
chemical
sort of...
makeup of it is, but that's what a Quaalude is. No,
Aaron,
never-
Right.
this is a perfect opportunity for, maybe it'd be in poor taste, but our
What?
old buddy Al Pacino. Another Quaalude, she love me again. But it sucks because another unfortunate choice of words. We blew our wad on the Bill Cosby. That wasn't recorded, but I mean,
Right.
it's
Well, the
if you had any love left for Bill, it left this week.
Yeah,
Right.
It's so disappointing, man.
Yeah, it was hard to argue against the multitude of cases that came out in recent years, but there's still some part of me that would hope that it was not true. If I found some evidence that this was all some crazy conspiracy, then I'd probably go with it and try and
I wonder if you ever put Quaaludes in the fucking pudding.
Put the Quaalude in the pudding.
But yeah, I mean it's gone now. He
Yeah.
admitted to doing it, and
Honestly, man, I have the same feeling about this as when I found out about Michael Jackson. Honestly, because like two huge stars. I was a fan of.
we never really saw this kind of concrete evidence in with Michael Jackson, though.
No.
See, for me, with Michael Jackson, though, was a little bit different because you kind of felt sorry for him because it was maybe more like, I mean, not detracting from what he allegedly did, but it was
had a
more
fucked up
with
childhood.
Michael Jackson,
Yeah,
mental illness,
I don't
possibly.
know. Right.
Right.
That's the
With
thing
this
is
bill,
like,
this is just slimeball
Yeah,
behavior.
I almost doubted that Michael Jackson was having sex with minors. I really still would like to think that he didn't, and that he just had some really weird mental problems
and
that
some
he
boundary
just,
issues.
Well, he probably just boundary issues, and he just loved children like crazy fucking cuckoo. Wanted to give kids the childhood he never had.
Which I'm sure it's probably all true. It's just whether it ever severely
It's just
crossed
fucking
the line or
weird,
not.
but it's really fucking weird. You know what I mean? Like to us, it's really weird. I mean, it is really weird.
It's-
But
Whoa.
Bill has a celebrity booster. You guys got any guesses who it is?
a celebrity booster. No,
Donald Trump.
Someone who's defending him. Nope.
There goes my guess. I can't.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg.
That's because she fucking licked the fucking pussy juice off his dick after he was
Come on
done.
now.
that
Come
was
on.
brutal. That was brutal.
But she's been getting death threats and stuff.
I didn't know that.
And
So-
her whole thing is she says he has not been taken to jail or tried on anything.
Well, I wonder if she's been heard from since these court documents were opened.
This is dated 1:20 p.m. today from the AP.
Really? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So fully aware of his testimony in this court case that was settled out of court, and the documents were sealed on it, and now it's come out that he at least admitted to obtaining the drug for that intention, right? And when I don't know what else you really need if he's going to admit to obtaining Quaaludes, and all these people are going to accuse him of being given Quaaludes and raped afterwards. Well, I mean, we can connect the rest of the dots here.
Question is, will Jell-O seize this opportunity for new Jell-O flavor? Quaalude Jell-O.
Well, Disney seized the opportunity, or actually was kind of convinced by petition on Facebook to remove a bust of Bill Cosby from one of their theme parks. Disney's Academy of Television Arts and Sciences Hall of Fame Plaza in Hollywood Studios theme park. An extremely long name for what sounds like an extremely boring theme park, but who knows?
Is that what the old MGM Studios maybe?
Don't know.
Is that still exist? That
Is that in
MGM
Florida?
Theme park? Or?
This is in Florida.
Yeah, there was
MGM,
in Florida. There was
MGM's still down there.
Really?
That still exists.
Yeah, it still exists.
It had the Indiana Jones stunt spectacular and all that bullshit.
Which was kind of dumb. Yeah, I
Hey,
saw it.
when
I
you're
was there.
10, that shit was awesome.
Yeah, it was their opening
All right.
season. It was awesome. It was 15. I was 15. It was still awesome.
But
I've never been to any Disney park of any kind. Or
Not to change the subject here, but really, Disney, all of a sudden you have a conscience. I mean, I mean, people that work for you, the nickname for your company is Mauschwitz. I mean,
Yeah, but when it comes to, I mean, Disney also has an interest in trying to keep its image squeaky clean. I'm surprised that they held out for this long.
Yeah.
I would have figured that the minute that an allegation was made, they would have been like, nope.
hey, here's a true test. Are they still running Captain EO?
Probably not. But, you know, they still, I don't know, they've given Robert Downey Jr. millions and millions of dollars in the past decade.
I know, right? Yeah. Wasn't it made a little more than a decade ago? He was waking up in some stranger's nursery or some shit. He went home to the wrong house.
He was
so fucked up.
He was unemployable because no one would insure him. Because,
I remember that.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like, if you're a big deal actor and they're putting millions of dollars into you, and you've got some kind of problem that could keep you from that could make the schedule for a movie fucked up. Well, that's going to cost the studio money, so they take out an insurance policy on that. Well, they couldn't find anyone to insure him because he was a pretty much guaranteed problem. But, you know, now he gets paid millions of dollars to play an alcoholic.
Yeah, I know, right? And can't even have any of the fun of playing the alcoholic.
Right. But, you know.
But Bill is also in Philadelphia. There is a mural to North Philadelphia celebrating Father's Day. Features Cosby in a trademark purple sweater between South African leader Nelson Mandela and Archbishop Desmond Tutu. They're thinking about taking it down. That's, however, it's I guess the qualifier in this story also says, but it had already been considered for decommissioning because the wall under the train bridge where it's painted is in bad shape. My guess it's probably been tagged with things like rapist, you know, things like that, you know.
Right.
Taggers don't give a shit.
But, you know, that is interesting to me because it puts the story in this kind of crazy perspective of the heights to which this man rose in being loved by everybody to this. And to just being, I mean, rightfully so, hated for his actions.
To play devil's advocate here, I mean, Mandela cheated on his wife, but I mean, he wasn't drugging people. It's,
you know, I don't really equate that at all. And you know, the other thing is like Bill Cosby was beloved by a nation because he was so funny, and he told stories. He did refer
to himself as a moral pillar, which, that's out the window now, Bill.
No, he kind of did, though. I don't know that he referred to himself as such, but he was very preachy, and especially in more recent years. He's in his old age, he's become very preachy, which is
some of the things he said I can't argue with, but you know, I'm white and I'm not allowed to agree with them. It just, for the record, on this mural, the spokesman says no one's actually complained about the mural. They're thinking about take it down just because of the recent allegations, which, seems fair.
Right. But to go back to like Nelson Mandela, for example, he was also a hero because he was fighting against apartheid, and he was a political prisoner for 20 years? How long?
26 years.
26 years? Yeah. So, I mean, it's not really the same thing.
No, cheating on your wife's cheating on your wife. But, yeah, we could get into the semantics all day, because, too, I mean, you could bring up Jesse Jackson, Mr. Moral, upstanding, pillar of the community.
He owns like $3 million.
Come out, he was having an affair for like 20 years and had an illegal or an illegitimate love child and all that stuff. But once again, not drugging and raping women.
No, but he's $7 million in his back taxes. Yeah.
Thank you for listening, liking, and sharing Unregimented on Facebook and following Unregimented on Twitter at UnregimentedPod. If you like Unregimented, please tell a friend to visit ChristopherMedia.net. You can subscribe to Unregimented on iTunes for free just by clicking through the iTunes banner at ChristopherMedia.net. You can also show your support for Unregimented when you buy something on iTunes just by clicking through the iTunes banner at ChristopherMedia.net. It won't cost you anything extra, and it shows your support for Unregimented. While you're on iTunes, please remember to write a review and rate Unregimented 5 stars. Just click on the iTunes banner at ChristopherMedia.net. Android users can listen to Unregimented for free at ChristopherMedia.net by clicking on the Stitcher radio player on our homepage. You can also listen to Unregimented for free at TuneIn.com or by downloading their free TuneIn radio app. Don't forget, you can always listen to Unregimented for free across any platform just by going to ChristopherMedia.net. Make sure to check out all of the podcasts on ChristopherMedia.net. Mondays and Fridays, you have Unregimented. Reach us at UnregimentedPod on Twitter. Tuesdays and Fridays, you have the Weedsman Podcast. Find those guys at the Weedsman420 on Twitter. Wednesday, you have the Projection Booth, projection-booth.com, or at ProBoothCast on Twitter. Saturday, you have the Captain's Table at Captain's Podcast on Twitter. You can also check out one of our new shows, new to us. It's the Ugly Club Podcast. It's another movie podcast, but these guys go with more of a theme each week rather than just one movie. You could check them out at Ugly Club Podcast on Twitter or uglyclubpodcast.com. If you like Unregimented and want to show your support for Unregimented, you can donate to Christopher Media by clicking through the PayPal button at ChristopherMedia.net. If you use Amazon.com, please click through the Amazon banner at ChristopherMedia.net and bookmark the link. It won't cost you anything extra, and when you buy something, you will show your support for Unregimented. If you're looking to launch your own website, please click through the HostGator banner at ChristopherMedia.net. That's who we use to host Unregimented. When you sign up for HostGator by clicking through the banner at ChristopherMedia.net, you are helping to support Unregimented.
Oh, and the other fun news story this week was about Jared Fogle.
Insert your $5 footlong joke here.
No, don't.
Well, Subway has terminated the relationship with Jared. He's no longer going to be the spokesperson. And it's due to, the FBI was searching his place looking for evidence to see if he was involved in child pornography. Because the head of his foundation, what was his name? Russell Taylor, he's the director of the Jared Foundation, was arrested on May 6th and found to be in possession of child pornography, and some of which even appeared to have been filmed in his own home.
Good
so,
God, man.
He was not just collecting it, he was
making it.
Not Jared, but this is the dude that was like part of the foundation that Jared, part of the, he was the head of the Jared Foundation, right?
Yeah, and he was fired after he was charged, and Jared Fogle claims to know nothing about it. Russell was charged with 7 counts of child pornography. He's been in custody since he's attempted suicide. I hope he gets it right next time around.
Yeah, because
it's
not going to go well for him in prison.
I hope the inmates take care of him. I mean, that's what our taxpayers' dollars are for.
Now, can we say that Jared was probably a victim of this new witch hunt, out for blood mentality people have? Like, he wasn't like, this is truly a conviction in the court of public opinion. You don't need charge or anything. He if you read the stories, he fully cooperated.
Right.
He said, sure, come on in, do what you got to do. And Subway's, it's like Subway just doesn't even want to even deal with it.
Well, Subway said that, and I believe on Jared's side too, they've said that the split was mutual. They were basically like, they knew that being this close to the child pornography case is going to affect Jared's image, and could understand why somebody would want to just disassociate themselves with that, at least for the time being.
Well, I mean, he did all right. He had, what, a 2-decade run with them?
Dude, he's worth $15 million. He gets paid like $5,000 to $10,000 for appearances. Mm-hmm. And this is a guy who has zero charisma.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I remember when the first Jared commercials started coming out, and I was like, that guy? Really? Like, I would rather you just found a skinny guy and lied to us than put his mug all over everything.
I want to see
now
pretty
with
things.
Photoshop, you could just take the photo of the skinny guy.
Hey, that's why I watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer, damn it.
Plus the storylines are good.
So, but you're right, Chris. We are damning him already in the court of public opinion, and there's been no evidence, at least that we've heard about so far, of them actually finding anything or any connection. And the reason that they were looking, the reason they got a warrant to search his house is because there was links that I guess on some of the porn that they found in Russell's place, there was evidence that he had sent it to other places, including to Jared.
Oh,
Still
I did
doesn't
not know that.
It still doesn't mean anything, because I mean,
the story I read was it just had some documents from the Jared Foundation on the same hard drive as the child pornography.
Yeah.
That's what I read.
Well, and also this is a guy who apparently has, he told one of the women that works at the foundation, he asked if she wanted to see pictures of naked kids. Like,
how do you even bring that up?
I don't know.
Hey, baby,
kids.
you want
Wanna
to
see them?
Naked kids? I got naked kids here for you.
Maybe he's got that like Bob Crane type charm.
And
like, I find it hard just to ask a girl out for a drink. How do you like get the balls to ask somebody that you barely know if they want to participate in
child pornography?
I was just gonna take child out of it, just pornography. Like, hey, you like porn? Like, that's not a casual subject.
Well, I mean, in what world
it depends
does this guy live in where, like, hey, you want to see so this child porn I made is a valid way to pick up women? Like,
sick bastard.
Maybe, who knows? Maybe he wasn't trying. I'm not sure that's his thing.
Like, of the 100 greatest pickup lines, I mean, it's easily probably 110.
I think maybe he was trying to look for another candidate for his dog. Apparently, there's some bestiality going on in these videos too.
Oh, getting out the peanut butter?
Yes,
dude.
I just, by the way, I saw season 1 of Orange is the New Black. that scene with Boo and her dog.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
What happened to your dog? It got weird.
Well, yeah, I know.
Dude, we're just talking about these stories, and I just feel uncomfortable.
I know, right? It just totally makes me feel greasy.
Yeah.
I had a really hard time reading the story about getting more information on Russell Taylor, and I didn't really need to know the details, but finding out that some of it may have actually been produced by him, and they were describing that the kids on these videos don't even appear to know that they're being filmed. I don't know. It's
like,
really
if you fuck
up.
kids, can we kill you? Like, can we just put that into the Constitution somewhere?
I'm cool with that.
We already have that set up. It's an unspoken agreement with the rest of the prisoners.
Yeah.
Look another way. Taking your baton, pushing the camera to the side.
Perfect. Dude, you like killing people. We don't really like killing people, but think that there are some people that deserve to die.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't get
technically have the death penalty. However,
we have the inmate penalty.
You want to save the taxpayers thousands of dollars?
Yeah.
We're going to put you in this cell with no cameras on it.
Yeah.
And we're just going to fucking look the other way.
And guess what? Your commissary is getting just a little larger for the next couple of months.
Yeah, exactly. Just pull a Healy and walk away.
Right. So, are we done with the Jared thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm reading this story.
It's a great show. We start off with fucking raping and child fucking Jesus.
So
yeah, it's hard to even say, isn't it?
Yeah, it's drugging people for sex and having sex.
Hey, let's take a break.
Children.
I'm going to take a shower.
Yeah,
and we're done.
Dude, that'd be an acid shower. I'm reading on archive.org. about how BBC faked a Syria gas attack. BBC faked a Syrian gas attack. I want to play this clip. I don't know how loud it's going to be.
The charity hand in hand.
Here, I'm going to start this.
I need a pause because it's just absolute chaos and carnage here. We've had a massive influx of what looks like serious burns. Seems like it must be some sort of, I'm not really sure, maybe napalm, something similar to that.
That's the original.
But obviously, within the chaos of the situation, it's very difficult to know
that CNN
exactly what's going on. It's just absolute chaos and carnage here.
This is BBC's version.
We've had a massive influx of what looked like serious burns. Seems like it must be some sort of chemical weapon. I'm not really sure.
You notice she said that it was some kind of napalm attack.
Right.
And then the BBC put one out that she's saying they digitally altered what she was saying and had her saying chemical weapon attack.
Right, because if you watch
the one I'm reading says it was chlorine gas.
Yeah,
Right.
because if you look at the footage, she's got a mask on.
Right, she's a doctor.
Right.
Let me see.
She got this big mask over her face, so you cannot. I mean, they could have dubbed anything in there.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That was the difference? Was just that they altered what she said, or was that? 'cause there was this other. They went over to another part of footage where they showed some other shit going on, and I thought maybe.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: this is Dr. Rala Hallam. Okay. And it says in a subsequent BBC interview, Dr. Rala Hallam complained about the UK Parliament refusal to authorize a military strike on Syria. Hallam's father is also on the Syrian National Council, the political body which represents opposition militants. So it says, I suspect the motive in this instance and others by the BBC are propaganda intended to affect public opinion in the UK in such a way as congregate support and underpin an offensive against the Syrian government. So, and it is artificially dubbed with chemical weapon instead of napalm type strike. And I guess I'm trying to find more on her because she had some shit to do with Iraq too, because like she went in front of like Congress or something and basically.
Right, it says the napalm bomb images had been substituted with footage from an entirely different event. Right. So that when they cut over they showed another doctor and some other guys, and it looked like they were kind of gathering around somebody who is splayed out on a table or something.
Right.
And the lighting looked totally different and everything too.
Yeah.
So they spliced in some other footage and changed what she said. To what end? What did they gain from framing this as a story about a chemical attack and not a napalm attack? Because
it's easier to gain support for a strike against another nation or group with a chemical attack because that's like, it's illegal.
Right. So now you can get the UN involved.
Right. So like if you're using firebombs, I mean, it's not cool, but it's not like UN worthy.
Right.
UN's going to be like, knock it off, or we're going to come in there and knock it off for you.
So they were faking news in order to attempt to ratchet up the case against Syria, the Syrian government.
Yep, and CNN played that shit too, because you're
taking a page out of the US's playbook.
Well, no, that's the thing, man. Is CNN aired that first, and it was the napalm strike. So if you look at everything in that video, you'll see that it just doesn't all add up, and you could kind of tell that it's spliced together now that it's like kind of out there in the open. If you were watching CNN and it flashed, you wouldn't really, who really pays attention to CNN? You're like, it's like listening in the background kind of thing, I guess. I don't know. I guess there are some cuckoos that listen to that fucking shit. But anyways.
Well, there's a story here by Robert Stewart, who I guess this is on globalresearch.ca, and he wrote many letters to the BBC trying to get a comment on this story. And this is what he got. The pictures used on news site on BBC Two were more graphic, and as the program is shown after the watershed to UK audiences, that is within audience expectations. However, as the version going out on the BBC News channel is also broadcast around the world on BBC World News, we have to be more careful in terms of taste and decency to our audience elsewhere in different time zones. So this is apparently an argument for why they switched out some footage.
Yeah, right. Why they?
Which doesn't really touch on the language. We would also reiterate the point we made in our first response that the change of pictures did not change the journalistic integrity of the piece, so we feel it is editorially justified and in line with the BBC editorial guidelines. Okay, so what this is kind of a bait and switch, right?
Newsertainment, dude. That's all it is.
This is what politicians do when their backs are against the wall.
Yeah.
We can admit to this one wrongdoing and focus the attention on that.
Right.
Right? So, yeah, our bad, we switched out some footage. No, wait, what we're saying is that you change the total context of the story.
Right.
But if they make the news story now about them just switching out the footage, people will forget about the other part of it. And plus you also have people who are more liberally minded who would just rather go, well, yeah, that's not right, but, it's for a good cause. It's a serious bad.
Because CNN told me so.
Right.
Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out of all these countries. Get the fuck out. Let them destabilize. So Greece has got some shit going down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fucked right now.
Yeah, it's impossible to ignore the news stories about Greece, although I guess I haven't brought it up because I don't understand money that well.
Was it Alec Baldwin on 30 Rock says they had, ever since they invented democracy, they've kind of been coasting ever since.
Well, I don't know. I guess they're getting another loan.
Well, they got 36 hours to decide whether they're going to accept it or not. And if they don't accept it, like whatever the terms are that the EU put forth to them, they're kicked out of the Eurozone.
Right.
So they're not allowed to use euro anymore. They got to go back to like the drachma or some shit.
They'd be un-Europed.
Right.
Yeah. They got to go back to their own currency.
Wait, doesn't the euro suck anyway as far as its stability and value?
Well, this is the reason why, because they don't have another choice. They have to kick Greece out of it if they don't take this loan, and that means that they're not going to get their debts paid back either.
Right, which means everybody who had monies deposited within those banks loses all that fucking money.
Right, gone.
It's all gone, wiped out.
And now the euro is totally destabilized because of that.
Right.
Because every other country has to in some way absorb that debt. That's going to affect all of Europe's economy now. So,
which in turn affects ours.
Well, yeah, it's definitely a global economy.
And this is going to give every hippie asshole we know more fuel for, you see why I don't trust banks, man?
Well, so we've got the euro, then we've got China.
I fucking don't trust banks after what they fucking did to me on my house. They can kiss my ass.
I do not bank.
Bullshit.
I take my check to the bank it was drawn from, and they ask me every single time if I would like to open an account so as to avoid the $10 fee to cash my check. It's like, no. I get paid bi-weekly. You can have the $20 a month because it's way less. It's so much worth it to not have the hassle of what? Like the convenience of shopping online and having my identity stolen, the convenience of not having charges bounce back, but instead they push them through and add a $39 service fee for overdrafting. I mean, and they compile.
Right.
I mean, you know how this shit goes.
I do.
And they also, and there's actually been evidence of this. And I remember when this happened to us a number of times when I was married. We'd run into the situation where we'd be like, in debt to the bank for hundreds of dollars on overdraft fees.
Did you ever call them?
And, I've had some maddening conversations with them because I look at the dates on the transactions and when they were processed. And I also have all the receipts from all my transactions as well. So I know exactly when I made them too. And even based on their date of entering the transactions, they were still drawn from my account in a way that would make the overdraft fees compound. So let's say I charge, I charge $5. I go get $10 worth of gas. I do $5 worth of some food.
Was that BOA?
I swipe the card at some other place. I have all these little under $20 charges, and then there's one $100 charge that causes the account to overdraft, unless we process that $100 charge first Now the account's overdraft at an earlier point, and you're not just getting a $39 fee for that $100 overdraft.
For all the 20s.
You're getting it for all these $5 and $10 and $20 transactions. So
Right.
now you have 5, 6
Yeah.
overdraft fees, and
Right.
you owe the bank hundreds of
What
dollars.
fucking bank was that?
All of them. But
I got a credit union, so it ain't like that.
It was like that for the credit union that I banked at as well.
I
tried that.
If the money's not in my savings account to cover it, it's a one-time, like it's one fee. And I've called and talked my way out of it. 'Cause
Right.
it's so far between that.
I've talked my way. I've gotten them to usually reduce the fees by half.
Right.
If I am willing to stay on the phone long enough. It's basically an endurance match.
Yeah, I kill them with kindness.
Because
Wow.
I try
Like
and
fucking
that's my
kill 'em
problem.
with kindness,
I come
dude.
at them
Y'all-
with logic.
Nope.
And-
Y'all got to shop around.
I'd be like,
And I get
no,
super
seriously,
frustrated.
Here's what I do. I'm like, hey, listen, I kind of screwed up a little bit there and didn't realize, kind of like admit the stupidity, dude. And people
Yeah.
are blown the fuck away by that. Like, because who the fuck admits when they're wrong?
Right.
I mean, who
That's
knew?
right. Yeah.
Who admits? I mean, you overdrafted, dude. I'm sorry, you overdrafted, right? You fucking overdrafted.
Right.
Oops, my bad.
Right. Well,
The way they
See, I
structure
have
it
overdraft
was-
protection. Like
So,
they'll replace the money, and then I got 24 hours to get the money back in there.
well, I also remember a time when I would use my debit card. I didn't have enough in my account.
and it would allow the transaction.
It would not allow the transaction to go through.
Well, that's
and that-
how it should be.
And I was fine with that. It happened.
That's how it should
I was
be.
declined, and I was embarrassed, and I was like, "Oh fuck! I better do better math on my bank account." But then all of a sudden, this policy just changes over to, "Oh, this is a convenience thing, and for your convenience, we're going to charge you $25." Is what it started out with, and then eventually, over the course of like a decade, it got up to $39. I think is the most that they can charge of this type of fee.
See, I've been with the same bank for 15 years. I've had one issue, and it was such a chicken shit issue. And it turns out what they were doing, there ended up being a class action lawsuit against the bank, so they can no longer do what they did to me. Just I got a direct deposit, and I had some bill or something processed at like 5 a.m. and then my check hit the bank at like 7 a.m. And they hit me with an overdraft fee for that, and I just called them and went, well, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, no.
2 hours.
No.
I have direct deposit. You knew what was going to be there.
Right.
And
That's exactly what I was talking about. They process the transactions in an order that is advantageous to them.
It's an algorithm in their fucking system, dude. I mean, that's
Yes,
all
but
it
now,
is.
just so you gentlemen know, no, it's because of my bank getting sued. Banks can no longer do that shit.
Right.
Like if it's there the same day, that's like government.
Yeah, it should be a
government stepped in and went,
24-hour.
sorry,
It should
But
be a
if it's there the
24-hour
same day,
should be a 24-hour turnaround. you know?
When there's a will, there's a way. I mean, they still want to fuck you over.
Yeah, where there's a
They
dollar,
just
there's
been
a way.
they've been caught on this angle, so they'll find some other way to.
Bank of America's
There-
like that, dude.
there's
They are
no-
the worst bank for that.
There's no
shit.
advantage for me. If I actually wanted to go buy something online, so fuck it. I go to 7-Eleven,
Get a
I pay
rechargeable Visa
$1
card.
or something for a rechargeable Visa card, and I use that. It's way better that way anyway, because now my ID isn't out there. I don't have a bank account number out there, a credit card number that somebody can steal.
Right.
And I mean, my social security number, good fucking luck. I don't know what you're going to do with that.
See, now in the bank's defense, I had that happen to me twice last year. One was a credit card that I shut down because it's worthless at this point because it's $300 limit. But the other one was that the bank caught it right away and called me. They're like, "Hey, we shut down your card. We've, there was a charge. It was like, I don't know. I was in like Massachusetts, and someone was buying like shoes or something in like fucking like North Carolina or something."
Well, yeah,
You know-
they're all over that because at the end of the day, they're going to be held responsible for those charges and have to try and recoup that.
Because they called me, they're like, "Hey, did you just buy this and this?" Like, "No, I did not." You know, like,
they're
"Okay, we
looking out
wanna
for
make sure."
themselves,
Yeah.
more so than you during that call.
Well, my credit union just popped. Somebody got my wife's number, and it got denied at like Meijer and like 3 other, like a gas station and White Castle just yesterday. And
even when I started traveling,
wow, they were probably right by our house.
Yeah,
there's a White
Yeah,
Castle.
I know, right?
Oh no, wait, that's a little further down. They're the one in Gratiot.
But even when I started traveling, there was a couple things that like I prepaid a couple rooms like for one of my trips, and Aaron, I think maybe you remember this, maybe you don't. I don't know. It was a gig with our old band, and I went to go use my card, and the bar was like, "You can't use this card. It's not valid." I called my bank, like, "What the hell?" They're like, "Oh, we shut down your card for suspicious spending," and I had to explain to them, "No, I had to explain to them, no, I just got a new job. I travel for a living now." So they had to put all these things. They had to put notices on my debit cards, like this guy travels. To take a little bit of the eagle eye off of it.
Yeah, I go on my bank account for my credit card, and I tell them where I'm going, and it's fine.
Yeah, there was a number of times working retail before. Selling instruments, you could rack up some pretty big purchases here and there. And when people would come in from out of town and buy something, it got to the point where I was just like, you should probably contact your bank if you haven't already, because I'm about to run it for $2,500.
Yeah, they're gonna freak.
You live in Texas.
Right.
So, yeah, they're probably going to decline it. Not that you couldn't get on the phone and get somebody to approve it, but it's like a 15, 20-minute conversation.
I've I don't know. I got no issue personally with my personal finances with banks. I've been in the same bank for 15 years.
I love this. We started out talking about Greece and the euro. They're like, you know what? We don't know shit about world economics, but damn, banks suck. Yeah. I can tell you that much. I mean, if they suck on a personal level, imagine how bad they suck on a global level.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
What about this shooting in San Francisco?
With the guy with all 4 Mexican cliches for a name.
Right, what's the guy's name again?
That's racial.
It's something that if we made it up, we would be labeled as just hardcore racists. But it's like you couldn't even make this shit up. His name is...
It sounds pissed like this guy's walking around getting away with something.
He's a
Juan Francisco Lopez Sanchez.
Right. So the guy's in San Francisco and his name's Juan Francisco.
Yes.
Juan Francisco Lopez Sanchez. So I heard about this guy. I saw a Fox News story talking about basically how this is probably why Trump is right. Here you go.
Fox News. Trump is right.
Here's this guy who has been... he's been deported numerous times and has come back to the country, and he was held on some kind of minor charge, and they were supposed to, because he was in illegal, they were supposed to hold him in custody until the federal government could investigate, but they didn't. They let him go, and now he's apparently responsible for the shooting of Catherine Steinle, I believe is how you pronounce her name.
But he also did it with a stolen federal agent's gun, which... How the fuck did he pull that off?
Right.
Have they even delved into that yet, or?
Well, the clearest facts I could get on this was, according to Juan Francisco, he came across this gun wrapped in a T-shirt on a bench, and the gun went off accidentally in his hand.
That's his story?
Yeah, it does sound like a stupid story, doesn't it? But nobody can find a motive for him to randomly kill this woman either. She was out for a walk with her dad.
Besides being pissed off at the United States because he's been deported 5 times?
You don't just go and shoot a random white lady on the boardwalk.
You never know. I mean, if
the guy's crazy, the guy's crazy.
Gentleman's mental state yet, or is that just too far down the road?
But there's no indication of a struggle, or it doesn't appear that he approached them and drew a weapon on them. I don't know.
My whole thing is my whole issue is with the first part of what you said.
That he was
federal
in
agents
custody?
are just leaving their guns wrapped in T-shirts on benches all over the place.
Oh, that.
It's.
Is that?
I don't think that guy's got to check his gun in and out and all that other bullshit. And
okay, but how would this guy have gotten the gun otherwise, though? That doesn't even make any sense.
Well, I mean, I'm not an investigative reporter.
Right, no. That's what I'm saying, though. None of this makes sense. So the little facts that we get, even though they they sound like complete bullshit, it's not like there's a strong case for him committing this murder intentionally.
Well, the thing is because it is a federal agent's gun, you now have to think that the federal government could be involved in this and trying to cover that shit up. Like maybe trying to protect one of their own. Or protect the fact that they were competent enough to let one of their guns get stolen. I mean, there's
right.
There's Jay. This is usually your area of expertise with the conspiracy theories here, but I mean, I don't think it's that far fetched to believe that the government is incompetent and now they're trying to cover their ass.
Well, I guess the San Francisco police are getting a lot of shit for being a what do they call it? A sanctuary state, which is a term that is apparently being used for people who are willfully ignoring the federal government when it comes to detaining illegal immigrants until they can be basically questioned and deported. But I mean,
I'm telling you, give them all social security numbers, take a third of their income like the rest of us. Welcome to America. Let's make some money. Well,
that's the problem.
Let's take some of that money back we're spending on
welfare, man. That's what's going to happen.
Well, no, but about this detention issue, though, because the San Francisco police aren't the only. There's a number of different cities and police stations that are not detaining illegal immigrants. And a big part of the reason is because the federal government has a huge backlog of these cases.
I have to say, my first guess would be no room.
Right. Well, there's been plenty of stories with cities who have complied with this and ended up detaining illegal immigrants for years while waiting for the federal government to do something about it. So that's why a lot of them are just like, hey,
pocket.
Yes, you're an illegal, but we don't have the room or the money to take care of you.
Look, we'll show you where the Home Depot is. You can work till we take you to court. I know I just think there's going to be more to this story, and it's
there's
this whole everything you just said to me just stinks. Like it sounds like, oh, it's crazy. I found it in a T-shirt on a bench and just went
This is already more intriguing than the first 3 episodes of the new season of True Detective. Like there is a twist somewhere in here. There's something.
Shots fired.
There is something dirty going on.
You're not liking the Vinnie Vaughn True Detective?
Oh, great cast, fantastic performances. Not really heavy on plot. Like there's kind of
don't need that whole plot thing to get in the way.
Well, it doesn't stop me from watching it. And it didn't stop me from watching Sean Penn and The Gunman either, which is a very similar thing. It's a very kind of straightforward story about a man whose past catches up with him. And it's Sean Penn, it's Javier Bardem. I'm trying to remember the name of the British guy who's in it. It has, Idris Elba. What's his name? The guy from the fucking Wire. The guy who was...
Idris Elba? What, I don't know.
Idris Elba? Is that what he's called? I'm
sure.
I can't remember how to pronounce his name, damn it. He was the guy in the golden armor in the Thor movie.
Oh, that guy.
Anyway, it has a fantastic cast, but I mean the plot is just everything is exactly what you expect, and it really doesn't go anywhere. But it was a very entertaining movie. It was a beautiful movie. It was very well acted.
Oh, did you see talking about police? See the Baltimore police chief got fired?
What for?
For the recent spike in homicides in Baltimore, because the police have just said, "Well, fuck it." It's been a rough year to be a cop. I'm not saying it's not well deserved, but it has not been a good year to be wearing a badge and a blue uniform.
No,
because you got a bunch of over aggressive fucks out there fucking it up for the guys who are actually there to protect and serve, to use the cliche. But
well, at least we have somebody at the top getting canned for this, because these things, these incidents of cops shooting unarmed people and going way over the top and being too aggressive on citizens, these don't happen in a bubble. They're not happening in a bubble. They're popping up all over the place, but they are the products of the culture in those cities. The culture that starts with the police chief telling them, get out there and, crack some skulls and do whatever it takes. And so the fact that we're actually seeing a police chief being held responsible for this, that's got to be a step in the right direction.
Fix that shit by September. I got to go there. I actually have to stay in Baltimore this time.
Have you guys heard about Face Gloria?
Oh, what?
It sounds so wrong.
Yeah, it sounds like some kind of new porn.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It's not. It's the exact opposite, as a matter of fact. Face Gloria is a new sin-free Facebook or a social media page that are social media...
For Jeebus?
What do you call it? It's not a page. What's Facebook? It's a...
Social media.
It's social media. Straight up what it is.
All right. It's a social media network.
There you go.
That's the word I was looking for. That this is, let's see, social... Wait, no, that's not it.
Is it sponsored by Hobby Lobby?
No.
Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
A group of evangelical Christians in Brazil has launched a social network where swearing and erotic content in any form is completely banned.
Sounds like the place I want to stay away from.
So it'll last a week?
Yeah.
On Facebook, you see a lot of violence and pornography. Really? Who are they friends with?
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, I follow some pages that I see some of that shit, but that's because I follow those pages.
Right. I don't
go seeking them. It's just like, okay,
right.
I watch Afghan combat footage and shit like that.
Right, you're seeking that stuff out.
I'm liking military pages. Yeah.
Well, whatever. I mean, this is what we're going to experience in the future anyway. This idea that
Facebook, you pick your content, then your content that's shown to you is like an algorithm. So I mean, I don't see how if they're not looking at something questionable somewhere,
right?
I don't see how they're getting that. But
well, this idea that there's Facebook is going to be this one social media network that everybody is on is outdated. I think even Facebook believed that, or maybe they still do believe that. But
it's going the way of MySpace.
Well, you're gonna have segments of the population or certain groups of people that will have their own little networks that they communicate on.
Speaking of that, I heard for the first time today, and maybe you've heard of it, but it's called Black Twitter. Because apparently, a lot of the leading tweets and shit like that about a lot of, I guess black people really have come to Twitter, and I guess that they're using it as a social media network. It's supposed to be, but there's actually a term called Black Twitter. They call it Black Twitter, and there's a newscaster who's actually going to start covering it.
Wait, is Black Twitter a separate network?
No, it's Twitter, but it's just it's kind of the unsaid portion of Twitter. It's Black Twitter, I guess. If you're black and you're part of that, look that shit up.
Terms like that are really going to help to stamp out racism. Good job.
Yeah. Oh, but that's supposed to be okay,
Yeah,
just calling something black is not racist.
Well, we know how that goes.
Well, it's I don't know.
Los Angeles Times recognizes Black Twitter's relevance.
There you go.
Black Twitter has a prominent online presence. It has become so important a major newspaper has hired a reporter to cover the news that comes from African American tweeters.
Once again, that's...
African Americans are some of the most active Twitter users, and so-called Black Twitter has become a space for news, activism, and challenging conversations about race.
And this will solve...
This has the potential to solve a number of different issues.
It can cause a number of different issues.
Yeah, I'm with Jay on that one.
Now that's been brought
It's
out.
Once again, we're crying equality while singling out a single group.
Right.
No.
I mean,
hold on. It's not a separate network.
No, it's not.
It's just all they're doing is drawing focus to the fact that black people are more predominant on Twitter now than they have been in the past.
Okay, but what if a white guy came up with the term Black Twitter? You think that would... To me, that just comes off as a pejorative term.
It's not, though. Just calling something black is not racist. It's not a pejorative term. No. It's a descriptive term of what you're talking about. You're talking about black people on Twitter. So you're calling it Black Twitter.
Can't they just be people on Twitter?
But they're talking about issues that are... they're talking about their community. So it's not that this black person on Twitter is talking about how funny Dancing with the Stars was.
I would call it more of a community.
And we go, let's put that on Black Twitter. This is a community of people that are communicating about the issues in their community. So this is where social media actually has its greatest strength, as we saw in Syria, for example, to bring things back to that. The fact that people could use Twitter and other social media to communicate instantly in large groups with each other was a very powerful tool for people who are standing up against a tyrannical government. So, yeah, it has the potential to do a lot of things. And, I mean, just the fact that there's...
the question.
Why wouldn't it? I don't understand why...
Because we're back to the conversation where I view SJWs and people who say prayers as in the same group. Look at me.
There's a difference between making an opinion, putting an opinion out there on Twitter and being a social justice warrior. I know the predominance is definitely people looking for an issue to be mad about, but that doesn't mean that's all that's going on Twitter. That there can't be real conversations where people are trying to solve problems. You can't damn it because of its stupidest and lowest common denominator users.
But that's
you
all
have
that
to see the potential in everything.
Those are like the loudest voices on social media.
It doesn't
usually.
matter. The loudest voices on the radio are the stupidest ones. The most colorful and flashy programs on television are the stupidest ones that draw the most people. It doesn't mean that you should say television is retarded and we should get rid of it. There's nothing worth watching on it. There's still a lot of great television that can be challenging, that can be intelligent. It's like any form of media you have that everybody has access to. Sure, you're going to get this lowest common denominator shit where people can all, pat themselves in the back and feel like they're making a difference in the world by being outraged by stupid shit. But the potential for actual change and the improvement of communication in communities cannot just be swept to the side by all of that.
Do you think this would be relevant if it wasn't for Ferguson?
Do I think it would be relevant? Yeah.
No, I mean, do you think it would be relevant news if it wasn't for Ferguson? Because is this just like a way for like our media to point out that there's this subculture, as I guess you'd use it as a loose term. You got this subculture of Twitter that happens to be the majority of black, the black section of. It's like almost segregating it. I mean, I'm not saying it's not relevant, like it's because but like it would be like pointing out Native American Twitter. It's kind of like, okay, you're gonna.
I mean, I don't know how you avoid that.
Let's put this in like
how many white
tangible
people are
terms.
Start trolling there?
What if you opened Black McDonald's?
No, no, you're taking it out of context. It's not being named that. It's just the community of black people that are on Twitter. It's such a large amount of people, and it's just like it's where their voices are being heard. So
right, and it's not even a specific place. It's not like you go to Black Twitter.
No, and it's not an official title. It's not blacktwitter.com. It's just fucking Twitter. It's the community of black. It's a community of black people that are on Twitter. That's what it is, and they just want to report upon that portion of black culture because so many people use it because they got their fucking Obama phone.
I'm in the lobby that you should just call it people on Twitter. I don't know,
but it is just people on Twitter. They just happen to be just happen to be black people on Twitter.
People on Twitter who are black and are also talking about issues that affect them.
Yeah, they're relevant
other
issues.
Black people.
Yeah, they're relevant issues. So they're going to start reporting on it so that we can hear what their issues are.
Okie dokie.
Yeah. I know it's like Miss Black America, like you can be black and be Miss America pageant, but you can't be white and be in Miss Black America. I mean, there wasn't a.
I mean, I agree with the basis of your argument. Why do we even have this term? Because it's not like it's a separate place. It's not like it is almost like we're segregating that conversation.
Right. That's what I'm getting at. Like
which. Not only I understand in the interest of
and they're self-segregating it too. That's what gets me.
Nobody. I don't think it's self-segregation, dude. It's the Los Angeles Times. So whoever is fucking running the Los Angeles Times has decided, like, you know what, this would be a really good idea.
But get this. But get this though. Black Twitter is a black person on Twitter.
Yeah.
Right. They're not segregating themselves. They're not going to blacktwitter.com. They're not signing up for a service that only accepts black people. They're not communicating only with other black people.
No, I get that. But I'm just talking
using Twitter.
I think the term is stupid.
The media
and comes off ignorant.
Right. The media and an interest to give this a name so people can attach something to it has created this name of Black Twitter in order to describe this momentum of black people using Twitter more.
And I guess another problem I have with it too is you couldn't do it. It can't. To me, it's not fair if you can't do it the other way.
But wait a minute.
You can.
Hold on. Here's conspiracy.
And there's already white Twitter.
And
there's white people tweeting all the time.
Put it in the Detroit Free Press and see how well that goes.
Here's a conspiracy theory.
You don't have a story of, oh my God, white people are using Twitter.
Because we are.
That's no shit. That is not a story. It's just it's not a label. It's a term the media has invented to describe a movement that they are witnessing.
What if it's the CIA trying to point black people to Twitter so that they can read more of their shit?
Jay, I don't think that's too far-fetched.
Because this could just be an advertisement.
Show my honest opinion. That doesn't sound too conspiracy-ish to me. I wouldn't put that past our fucking government.
No.
How does the government evolve? It's a black person deciding to use Twitter.
Yeah, but they're advertising it. But it's advertising. Hey, listen,
Who's
black
advertising?
People. The LA Times are calling it Black Twitter. That's what I'm saying. What if it's the government?
That's advertisement for their news stories. That's advertisement
I understand,
for them.
But if it's like, hey, there's this like culture in Twitter for black people, like black people are going to congregate there even more so. You know, like if you're a black person, you're not using Twitter yet, and all of a sudden you hear that, you're like, oh shit, I didn't know.
I got to get on Twitter and see what everybody's talking about.
Yeah, so like you get more black people on Twitter. Yeah, and then you can track all their movements with their smartphones and shit like that. Oh yeah, see.
And once Twitter goes black, it's never going back.
Nope. And then
snap.
Yeah.
Then we're just gonna have to rename it. We'll have to give Twitter to the blacks.
Yeah.
And get something new.
Here's your 40 acres and a mule. You get Twitter.
All right, Twitter.
Oh, that was terrible.
You'll all find out at your next meeting what the next social media network is going to be because
we're bringing MySpace back.
Right,
to white
it's like property. You know, the blacks move in, the whites move out.
No, just Jay will start Twitter.
Twitter. Perfect. I think that's a great note to end this episode on.
Wow, for something that felt like it took a while getting going, that went fast.
Yeah, it did.
Well, that's just number one.
Holy crap, I gotta take
right?
I gotta take a piss.
All right, so see you next week. Or no.
Yes.
See you. See you next week. See you Monday.
Yeah, see you Monday.
Monday, motherfuckers.
Yeah, who knows what the weekend will hold. But until then, we will catch you next time. Thanks for listening. Thanks for following us, all the new followers on Twitter. Thanks for hitting up the Facebook page, all that fun stuff. And we'll catch you on, Monday.
If you enjoy this show and want more people to know about it, head on over to iTunes, leave a comment, and rate it 5 stars. Make sure you like and share us on Facebook, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Just search for Christopher Media. Thank you in advance for supporting Christopher Media by clicking on the PayPal button and by clicking through to all the sponsors who support ChristopherMedia.net. Most importantly, we would like to take the time to extend an extra special thanks to you. Christopher Media could not exist without your support. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net, and thank you for listening. Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
You might not think that a few simple words could make you crave McDonald's breakfast sandwiches. But if you listen closely to the sound of me saying McGriddles,